Liar, liar, a דבר תורה for פרשת בו. כתוב בתורה שאסור לשקר. The Torah says lying is forbidden. I must have heard this mantra thousands of times, and although I can't really say it's a lie, I also find it difficult to say that it's true. There's no doubt that truth is a significant virtue in Tanakh, that there are several sources that warn us to stay away from lies and choose the truth. But verses have context, and the context in which the prohibition to lie lies is usually associated with harming others. But there are a number of points in this week's parasha that send the commentators into action, trying to clarify our relationship with lies, so I decided to join them. The discussion begins immediately after Makat Choshech. Paro offers to release the people on his terms. Leave your livestock behind. Moshe makes why this is not going to happen clear. Paro warns him not to see him again, and Moshe concludes, "It shall be as you have spoken. I will not see your face again." The statement bothers the commentators because, one, in practice Moshe continues speaking to Paro in the very next verse, and two, in Perek Yud Bet, Paro calls Moshe and Aaron and commands them to leave his people, which makes us think that once again there was another encounter between the two of them. Another problem the commentators deal with is a minor inaccuracy between the description of Makat Bechorot before it happens and the actual Makkah. In Perek Yud Aleph Pasuk Daled, Moshe declares, "Ko amar Hashem, kach atzot halayla, ani yotze betoch Mitzrayim umet kol bechor." But in Pasuk Kaftet it says, "Vayhi ba chatzi halayla v'Hashem meka kol bechor be'eretz Mitzrayim." The distinction between about midnight and at midnight demanded attention. And a number of answers started flowing in, like Moshe delivered the message about Makat Bechorot before they left Paro, this according to Rashbam and Ramban. Or when Moshe said he would not see Paro's face, he meant that Moshe would not come to Paro, according to Ibn Ezra. Meaning, during Makat Bechorot, Paro is the one running from house to house searching for Moshe, not the other way around. This is also written in Perek Yud Aleph Pasuk Chet, where it says that all Paro's servants will come down and bow to me, to Moshe. Or, we could say the term lirot panim, to see one's face, is a hierarchical one, as can be seen when Yaakov meets Esav. "For therefore I have seen your face as the face of God." Even if Paro managed to find Moshe in his mad midnight dash, it wasn't Moshe that saw his face, it was he that saw Moshe's. The commentators didn't miss the difference between bachatzot and kachatzot either, commentating either that these are two different ways of saying the same thing, Rashi's first perush, or that since they didn't have exact means by which to measure midnight, some might think that Moshe was lying, and this didn't happen exactly at midnight. This is Rashi's second. What I find fascinating about these two debates is the need commentators had to resolve near non-existent inaccuracies. Do you really want to tell me that someone was sitting with a stopwatch waiting to see if the firstborn died at midnight or at midnight in 7 seconds? That what bothered Paro while his firstborns were falling like flies was the fact that Moshe said he would no longer see his face, but then did? Well, it turns out that the commentators felt that this was exactly the point, leaving only the question of why as an argument among the commentators in Sefer Bereshit. When Yaakov disguises himself as Esav in order to get the blessing from Yitzchak, there's another sentence that bothers the commentators immensely. Yaakov says to the heavy-sided Yitzchak, "Anochi Esav bechorecha." I am Esav, your firstborn, which immediately puts Rashi in the defensive, and he interprets that it should be read, "It is I who brings you food," and Esav, he is your firstborn. Thus Rashi, the educator, strengthens the mantra with which we started among the Israeli children, "It is written in the Torah that it is forbidden to lie." On the other hand, according to Ibn Ezra, these are divrei ruach, nonsense. In his opinion, lying is not forbidden when necessary even by a prophet. Truth is an important value, but it is only one value among many, and Ibn Ezra has no lack of evidence. In his opinion, David was a prophet and told untruth to Achimelech. Elisha told Chazael that he will not live. Micha told Yoshaphat and Achav to go to war. Daniel and Avraham, and I think you've got the point. But there is a catch. Only most prophets can lie for a good cause. Prophets Ibn Ezra calls prophets of the future, warning prophets. But there is another type of prophet that is much rarer. How rare? rare enough to be the only one of his kind throughout history. Ibn Ezra calls this prophet the messenger, and we know him by his name Moshe. If Moshe can lie, he's actually cutting the branch on which the whole Torah rests, since if he's able to lie once, who's to say he didn't do it again? And so there will be ideologues who will be searching for opportunities to prove that Moshe has lied, which requires Moshe to always be precise, and sets off warning signals in any commentator who believes that Moshe emet v'torato emet. Did you enjoy this video? If so, please subscribe and pass it on to a friend, and who knows, maybe even press like. I am Dovi Holtz, one who loves Tanakh.